This morning, I just want to say right up front, can I just say thanks? Thanks to, last week we had a series talking about why you should be invested. And some of you yesterday took some time out of your busy Saturdays on that beautiful day to come. We realize at the table that we only get one chance at a first impression. And can I just thank today, I don't want to miss everyone, but I'm just going to say thanks to Jackson. By the way, Jackson has been serving as somebody who's running our video, and he's been amazing at that. But Jackson was here yesterday. Penny, Dan, Phil, Alan, Woody, Dave, Lisa, Ron, Amy. I'm sure you're all going to get those names. Sandy and Emily, too. Can we thank them for yesterday coming and helping prepare the church outside for weed eating and mulching? And I wasn't going to say it was a blast. Things got a little chippy, no pun intended, but it was a good time. Next week, we begin a new series called The Voice, and in front of you are two cards, one for you and one for the friend that you're going to invite. We're starting a new series talking about this idea of what voices should we be listening to. I know for many of you that you have multiple voices speaking into your head. Whether it's the news, whether it's a podcast, whether it's a book, whether it's friends, you are constantly consuming other voices from other people. I always just have voices running in my head. I'm not crazy. I've already been checked out. They say I'm good to go. But it's a matter of which voice am I listening to? Which voice are you listening to? You see, the one you listen to will shape you, but the one you ignore will go away. And so we want to teach you to listen to the most important voice. That starts next week. But today, I've entitled today's message, Rest Ready. Rest Ready. And I'm so excited this. Are you ready for the rest? Are you ready for the rest? That's the question for today. So today, I want to read from Mark chapter 2, verses 23 through 28. I feel bad making you stand again because you've just stood for 23 minutes. So I'll give you the option. Penny, thanks for just standing up. I appreciate that. If you need to stand in your heart, that's fine. But we like to stand to receive and posture ourselves for what God has given us and what He's about to give us. And so it says this. One Sabbath, Jesus was going through the grain fields, and His disciples walked along, and they began to pick some grains. I want to go back real quick because I want us to understand what Sabbath is. Sabbath was a day of rest that was established at the beginning of time. And what's interesting is God gives His people the day of rest to differentiate them from the rest of the world. That He says, I'm going to make you different from the rest of the world by giving you a day to take time out, to have a pause. This will be different from the rest of the world, which is constantly at work. So Jesus was going through the grain fields, and His disciples walked along with Him, and they were picking some heads of grain. The Pharisees said to Him, why are you doing what is unlawful on the Sabbath? He answered, have you never read the story of David, which is a trick question because he knows that they've read the story. Have you never read the story of what David did when he and his companions were hungry and in need in the days of Abiathar, the high priest? I don't know if that's how you say his name, but it sounds cool. Let's go with it, shall we? Abiathar, okay. Abiathar, according to Todd, the high priest. This is when David entered the house of God, and he ate the consecrated bread, which was only lawful for the priests to eat. And he also gave some to his companions. And he said to them, the Sabbath was made for man, not man for the Sabbath. And Jesus says, I want you to know, I am King. I am Lord. I have victory over the Sabbath day. This day is mine. Would you rest in that today? God, thank you for this word. We thank you for your message to us today. I pray that you would use me in the way that you see fit to connect your words, your truth, your love we entrust these next few minutes to you. And it's in the powerful name of Jesus we pray this. Amen. On your way down, look to your partner and say, I am ready for the rest. I am ready for the rest. I am ready for the rest. That's right. So I have this one question. Just this one question that kind of bugs me. It kind of gets under my skin. And it's so funny because it happens almost every night. So when we put our kids to bed at 8 p.m., 8 p.m. is when the party starts. At 8 p.m. when we put our kids to bed, what happens is Janelle will look at me 5 minutes after 8 p.m. and say, are you ready for bed? Are you ready for bed? Sometimes what she'll do is she'll sneak out of the kids' room a bit early and she'll go to the garage and she'll turn the lights out. She'll lock the door. She'll go through the kitchen, turn those lights out as well. Go through the living room, turn those out. And as I'm coming out of the hallway, turn the hallway lights out on me. No, I'm kidding. She doesn't do that. But she'll find me and she'll say, are you ready for bed? Some nights what she'll do is she'll just go straight to the room. Every light is in the house is on. That was an old country song, if you remember that. Every light in the house was on. Don't sing it, don't sing it, don't sing it. She goes, she jumps in bed, every light. The garage, the living room, the kitchen, the washer and dryer are running, the dishwasher's going, and she jumps in bed, and when I walk by the room, she says, are you ready for bed? Sometimes there are evenings where I don't get home till 9 o'clock at night, and it's, I haven't eaten dinner. I'm still processing the day. I'm thinking about what people said to me. I'm thinking about the meetings I had. I'm still kind of like, winding down. And I'll walk into the room, and she's watching Dance Moms. Weirdest show ever. She's watching Dance Moms. She'll say, are you ready for bed? And I don't know why that question bugs me so much, and I think some of it is, no, I'm not ready for bed. See, I'm ready. I'm wired for what's next. I'm always excited about what is next on our plate. I'm excited about, I will be falling asleep on the couch. She will wake me up and say, are you ready for bed? And I will be angry with her that she woke me up in the middle of my show. I don't know what was on, but something's coming next, and I'm excited about it. And I have a few gifts that God has given me, I think, and one of them is this, that I believe God has given me a passion for the future. He gives me vision. I think, I'm working tirelessly on what is next in my life, in our family, within our church family. I'm always thinking about what's next. This is why, men, you probably have so many hobbies like me. Janelle asked me, why do you have kayaks and bikes and soccer cleats? And why do you have all these things? Because I love doing what's next. I don't want to go to sleep. I don't want to close my eyes. I want to stay awake for what's coming. And I would guess within each of you, I know within each of you, there is a desire for what's next. You see, some of you, I get it, you look forward to the next project at work. Some of you get excited about building your own home. Some of us are getting ready for college, and we're excited about how this particular college is going to prepare us for the career of our dreams. Some of you are dating people. You're dating people, and marriage is what's next. And I think that when we become followers of Jesus, deep within us is this passion for what is next. It is a fire. There is a desire that happens there. Like, I call it the what's around the corner phenomenon. I feel like the moment I started following Jesus is like, I can't see what's next, but I'm so stoked for whatever's around the corner. It's like, whose life am I going to get to be a part of? Whose life will I help change? What are we going to do within our community that's going to make a difference? These are things that when I think about Jesus and his kingdom, they just get me so excited for what is next in my life. I love this. The CEO of JetBlue said this. Debbie, thank you for sending this to me this week. He says this: there are irrevocable laws of heaven when you serve. Check this out. When you serve Jesus, you get a little buzz. You don't need a dispensary. You just need Jesus. You get a little buzz. I love this. I love this. You see, you're not ready for bed. You don't want to rest. You are ready for, come on, what's next? You are so stoked about what's next. And so this is the point where you would think I would use the story of Jesus to sort of counteract our incessant need for coming up, for getting ready for what's next. But it's interesting because Jesus in this story seems to be advocating for a 7-day work week. You see, Jesus is healing people on the Sabbath day. He's eating on the Sabbath day. Jesus keeps doing what is next on the Sabbath day. And it's so funny. The Pharisees constantly say to him, why are you doing what's unlawful? Why do you keep breaking the law? I know some of you, it's hard for you to believe that Jesus broke the law, but he did. He absolutely did. He was like, no, I'm going to do this. And so this is the question that keeps coming up. Why is Jesus healing on the Sabbath? I want to tell you something interesting. In Mark's account, there are 11 verses that deal with this idea of Sabbath. 9 of which, Jesus is either healing somebody or he's being questioned about what he's doing. Why are you feeding people? Why are you teaching people? Why are you healing people? Why are you eating grain? Why are you nurturing or giving people the food necessary for life on a Sunday or on Sabbath day? And I don't want you to miss this. Because what Jesus seems to be doing is saying this, that you are missing what Sabbath, what rest is about. The reason why I keep doing the next thing, and the reason why he keeps doing the next thing in people's lives, preparing them for what's next. Notice this, whenever he does the next thing on the Sabbath, he's always preparing somebody for what's next. And he's saying within the context of rest, within the context of Sabbath, this is what it's about, is getting people ready for what's next. You see, the Pharisees decided to make it their goal and role in life to make sure that everybody observed the laws on Sunday. There are more laws just on their Sabbath day than we could ever imagine and ever dream of. And the Pharisees went around nitpicking everything in people's lives, saying, well, you didn't do this, and you didn't do this, and you didn't do this, and you didn't do this. And do you know what that creates? Exhaustion. People are tired. They're not ready for the work week ahead because their Sabbath day has turned into a work day. And I just want you to understand this because this is where Jesus is taking us. He's saying the true rest is training ground for what's next. The reason why I keep healing on this day is to show you what this day is for. That true rest prepares us for what's next. But come on. The problem for some of us is we're not ready for what's next because we're just ready for the rest. You see, the Pharisees created a culture in this moment where people were so exhausted and so tired, they were just rest ready. They were ready for a rest. They got to Monday and they were tired. Come on, you've had this? Have you ever had a crazy weekend? You're going to soccer games, going to graduation parties, you got baseball, you got this event, you're fixing up your house, you're doing all these projects, and you get to Monday and you wake up and you say, I'm tired. I'm tired. You ever meet people when you ask them how they're doing, and they say, I'm tired. Oh, I'm tired. I just want to say, I'm kind of tired of you saying you're tired. Can you find something else to say? I think for so many of us, we are ready for rest in our lives. We were just consistently ready for the rest. My brother, he's a doctor, he said, most Americans deal with fatigue. I'm like, that's not true. I'm never tired. That's not true, I am tired. But he says, most Americans are tired. And so I looked it up. 97%, check this out, 97% of Americans have one of the 9 markers for fatigue. And you know what they are? They're work. You work too late. You work too early in the morning. You work more than 50 hours a week. You work without a break. Everything has to do with work. And I think some of the reason why humanity can't reach its potential is because we have what I call a restless approach. The reason why we're not ready for what's next in our life is because we have a restless approach to what God is going to do. We just think if we rest less, we'll achieve more. And that's not always true. Think about it this way. A few nights ago, last Sunday, Janelle said, "Are you ready for bed?" And I said, "Yes, I'm ready for bed." And so we went to bed at like 9 o'clock. And do you know what happened? I woke up at 12:30. I only need like 4 or 5 hours. I know some of you are going to argue with me on that. 7 is the key number. I get that. I was up at 12:30. And my mind started racing. I was thinking about the haunted house story my dad told me that day. They lived next to a haunted house, a legit haunted house, and he told me a story that made the hair raise on my neck. And I was thinking about that. I was thinking about the meetings that were coming up the next day, that were coming up on Monday. I was thinking about the people that I had to talk to. I was thinking all the things that I had to achieve. You know what this is like. When you lay down at night and you're thinking about, oh, I wish I would have said this when I got in a fight with that person. I wish I would have said this on my job interview. Oh, I wish I would have done this on this test. And what happens is we spend a majority of our evening, I spent 3.5 hours achieving nothing. I was restless. I call restlessness sleep's multitasking. Restlessness is sleep's multitasking. I want to hear Walter Brueggemann says this. This is so good. He says, multitasking is the drive to be more than we are, to control more than we do, and to extend our power and our effectiveness. Such practice yields a divided self with full attention given to check it out. Nothing. Nothing. And Jesus wants to address the restless culture. You see the Pharisees were following him around. They had no business being in the field watching his disciples. The Pharisees had no business telling everybody which rule they should and they shouldn't follow. They had no business of constantly watching people, creating a culture of what I call restlessness. And Jesus seems to be counteracting this by showing them, no. When I'm doing what's next, it's to show you what this day's about. When I keep doing the next thing and you keep questioning me if I'm right or I'm wrong, I'm just letting you know, I'm doing this to show you what this day's about. It's not about restlessness. It's about rest that prepares people for the next thing, which is why Jesus says this. I know some of y'all think maybe I'm making this up. I love what Jesus says. In Matthew, he says, "Come to me, all of you who are weary." The words here, I love this. The words here mean toiling. I got to find it here in just a second. It means toiling or burdened. And I love this. Burdened, that's right, burdened. Weary means to be toiling or burdened. And burden, oh, so good. Burden from ceremony. When Jesus looks out at the people and he sees the Pharisees constantly following them everywhere, he says, "I see that you are restless and you are weary because of the ceremonies of religious law that have been created." He says, I see that in your life, the wheels never stop spinning. You are always thinking about how you're going to be healed from this or when the doctor is going to get back to you on this thing. You're constantly thinking about, how am I going to get into this particular school when my grades, man, I can't seem to get there. Some of us, we have more debt than we can afford, and so we're just tirelessly working towards paying off our bills. And Jesus says to me, come to me, all of you who are weary, and I will give you rest. I will give you, this is what you need, rest. Because you are ready for the rest. And I love the words. It means, take on my ease. Come on, take on my ease for just a minute. Like, it's so hard for you. I want to make things easy for you. I want you to have a sense of peace. I want you to sense this joy in your life. I want you to just understand, I've got this. I've got victory over this. We talked about it today. Everything that you deal with, I've got victory over this. Take my ease. So I want to ask you this question. At the table, we love to ask questions. You can either turn to somebody next to you and talk about it. You can take notes in front of you. Or you can text somebody this question. We love texting in church. So much fun. What must you entrust to God to access the ease you need? I know this is a deep question, so if you really don't want to talk to people, that's cool. Just write it down, think about it, text it to somebody. But what do you need in this moment to entrust to God? To gain the access to the ease you need. Take about 2 minutes. 2 minutes. Turn to your neighbor. What are you entrusting to God in this moment? Let's dive in. I got to land this plane in about, 5 minutes. If I'm not being clear today, I just want to say this. God wants to prepare you for what's next. But the problem is that many of us are restless. And so I want to get to where Jesus is taking us today, but I got to tell you this story because it's so good. My kids had their first soccer game 2 weeks ago. And our coach Phil, was giving all the kids their positions. He was saying, hey, Olivia, I want you to go play right striker. KK, I want you to go play, center defensive mid. And then he looks at one of our best players. His name's Isaiah. We call him Zay for short because it's really hard to yell Isaiah, but it's really easy to yell Zay. Just kind of get at him real quick. So he looks at Zay and he says, I need you to go play center mid. Which, by the way, center midfield is like the guy who runs up and down the whole field the whole time. And so I have never witnessed this in the history of my life, ever. I've never witnessed this. He says, I need you to go play center mid. And Zay looks at him and says to him, Coach, I need just a minute. I have the same reaction. I'm like, hey, don't know if you know this, the whistle hasn't blown, buddy. You haven't even broken a sweat yet. Like, we haven't even started, and you already need a break. This is not good. COVID has not done well for any of us. You need a break before we start. This is a problem. I didn't say that to the kid, just so you know. But I looked at Phil, and I said, what is wrong with this kid? And he's like, I don't know, but we'll just let him go. So, while he was taking a hot minute, our team was down 1-0 in the first half, which, by the way, we haven't lost in 3 years, nor have we been losing within the last 3 years. So we're like in new territory, and we're all freaking out. Like, hey, what is going on here? This isn't good. I mean, we are just used to winning. By the way, side note, the other day I went in to put my son to bed, Miles, and he says, Dad, it's all about fun. I said, son, let me tell you something. I know y'all going to judge me when I say this. I said, when the other team's scoring goals, is that fun? No, Dad, that's not fun. When you're losing, is that fun? No, Dad, that's not fun. You like it when you have a terrible game? No, that's not fun. And I said, winning is the point, because when you win, it is fun. I know they say in this league, you're not supposed to keep score, but I am keeping score. And right now, you're down 1-0, We're having this conversation. And of course, I told him, not everybody in life gets the job. Not everybody in life always gets the A. Not everybody in life comes out on top. Like, somebody loses, and when you lose, it's not fun. So we've established I know you're judging me. That's okay. You parent your kids, I'll parent mine. But my kid's going to be on the winning team. Anyway, back to Zay. Side note. Back to Zay. This kid takes his minute, and we put him in the game in the second half, and it was electric. This dude is like weaving and bobbing through the defense. I mean, this kid looked like a spaghetti and 3 cheese meat sauce, man. He looked like a noodle, just in and out and in and out. He scores the first goal, and then he scores the second goal. And it's like it became the catalyst for, check this out, winning the game 8-1. It was just so much fun. I was stoked. I was like, you take all the rest you need next game. And here's the thing. Don't miss this. You are either ready for a rest or you are ready for the rest of whatever God's got in your life. And I just want you to know, when I looked at Zay, I thought, you took your rest, but that made you ready for the rest of what was coming next. And I was so excited to see Jesus himself, even though he breaks the law on the Sabbath, it's so powerful. And if you don't pay attention, he practices this and models this so well for us. You see, when Jesus is about to do what's next, when he was healing on the Sabbath, when he was making people well and preparing them, I just want you to know, it didn't start by just showing up. It started when he went to solitary places. It was when he looked at his father and said, Coach, I just need a minute. I just need a minute. Give me a minute. And what's so crazy is whenever Jesus finds this place of solitude, whenever he finds this place of rest, you know what happens? He goes into these large crowds and he does these amazing things. On the day that Jesus was arrested, and then he went to Pilate, and then he was put on a cross, do you know where they found him? In a solitary place, resting and getting ready for what was next. It's so crazy when the resurrection story, when we say resurrection, we talk about Easter Sunday. When we celebrate Jesus coming back to life, do you know how the story starts? It says, after the Sabbath, after the rest of the world was never the same. Because Jesus was prepared and ready for what was next. Can I just say this to you? Do not fall asleep in your life because you have not found the ease that Jesus offers you. Do not miss your purpose in life because you want to choose the restless life that will not get you to the rest of where God is calling you. Oh man, I'm just telling you now, it's when you find his peace, it is when you find his joy that then you step into the rest of what God has for you. And this is what I mean by being rest ready. When you are ready for the rest of what God has for you.